Yeah, nice and smooth, strong stance, and I got him. I think we are sneaking up on him. Oh man, those are literally the exact ways that you don't want to hold your AR-15, but you can't blame them because no one's ever taken the time to show them how to do it properly. But that's what we're here to do today on No Fluff. So welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new, please hit that subscribe. We just recently hit 40 subs. It's not a lot, but hey, we're making improvements. So thanks for everybody that subbed so far. Share it. Let's get some more people. Let's get to our first 100. But so today we're going to be talking about how to hold your AR-15 properly. Because a lot of people have a lot of problems managing recoil and shooting their AR-15 because they don't know how to hold it. And quite honestly, it's not their fault. It's kind of an awkward platform to have, especially if you're not used to it, or especially if you grew up using traditional hunting rifles, or if your first rifle is a AK, if you will. Not knocking on the AK guys, but I mean, hey, you don't know if you don't know, right? So first things first, we're gonna get into this. So this is my AR. You guys might have seen when we painted it in the last video. If you haven't, I'll put a link in the description just for you guys to go see how we painted this. And I got a bunch of accessories and mods on this, so if you guys want to see a video on why I have it set up the way I do, the reasoning behind it, just comment below and I'll put a video on of like why I picked what I have and why I run what I run. So, all right, so getting into it, first things first, we're gonna go through how to hold an AR-15 to shoot it properly in the most efficient way to tactically perform on the battlefield, in a competition, home defense, or simply just because you want to be good at weapons handling. So we're gonna start from the back and we're gonna work to the front. So first things first is your buttstock, okay? A lot of people learn from whoever, or they figure it out on their own that the buttstock goes in the shoulder pocket, right? Everybody wants to tuck it right up in here against their shoulder bone and press it in there, and they're using that shoulder meat to absorb the recoil. The problem is that when you start putting plastic, or in this case rubber, or even there's some other materials out there on a bony substance, right here on your bone, at least for me, it's not exactly like absorbent. It doesn't mold around it. It's kind of abrasive and it kind of jiggles and bounces around. So what you really want to do is you want to kind of line up this buttstock more with the breast, about the 50% of the breast that's towards the shoulder. You want it to be more lined up right here. So when you bring it in, it's really more on that breast, and you want to use that shoulder to wrap around and secure that buttstock against you. So that way when it recoils, when you're running around, it doesn't jiggle as much. If it's here and you're running and you're shooting, it's going to slip off. If it's on your breast and you have that shoulder wrapped around, it's going to hold that buttstock in a lot more comfortably, and it's going to be a lot more stable for doing more dynamic shooting. Second off, you really want to make sure your buttstock is width or sized properly for you. So you see mine's painted because I painted it for where I keep it, which is about right there. If you have shorter arms, you want to have it in. If you have long arms, you want to have it out. So for me, I've got about right in the middle, and that we'll get into that in a minute, but you want to find a good size for your buttstock to where when you rest your face on it, it naturally falls into that optic, and you don't have that eye relief giving you problems, and you don't want to be so close that you get hit in the face every time it shoots. We'll get into optics and stuff later on in a future class, but so make sure your buttstock sized properly. Make sure you put it in the outer 50% of your breast, wrap that shoulder around it. So it's up here, you want it high. You don't want it too high to where the buttstock's hanging off, to where you have this gap right here. You want as much material on your breast as possible, as much shoulder wrapped around the buttstock as possible. You want this elbow in tight. You don't want to flare these arms out. A lot of guys get out there and they start flaring these elbows out all crazy. I don't know where they get it from. But you want this elbow in tight. You almost want it against your body. If you're shooting without a kit or without a vest and you're shooting Hollywood or naked like this, you want that elbow tucked against those ribs. And that's because that's what that is gonna allow you to do when you have that in, which you get into our next piece, is you want that rearward pressure from the pistol grip. So you don't want to push the gun forward because it's going to pull it off your chest. You want to have it on your breast, wrap that shoulder, pull that pistol grip into yourself and push against it. Not to where it hurts or it's uncomfortable, but you want to apply a good enough pressure to where it stabilizes the rifle on you. So wrap, pull, and now it's locked in. So if I take my support hand away, it should still somewhat be up like this. And I show guys all the time, when we go out to the range, and you guys will see us, we'll go out to the range here shortly, you can hit 100 meters. Sorry, you can hit a 6-inch dot at 100 meters with just your strong arm. Almost every time, guaranteed. This is what the shooting comes. This is where the skill comes. The firing at distance, the stability, all that stuff comes from your strong hand. You can hit those plates from here just like this. We'll get into it in a minute, but your support hand has nothing to do with the stability at distance. It has nothing to do with that, in my opinion. I'm gonna piss anybody off, but next segment. So now we got our grip down. We've got our buttstock on our breast. We got our shoulder wrapped around. Next segment is support arm, okay? We're gonna get into this. This is called a C grip or a C clamp or whatever you wanna call it, beer can grip, whatever you wanna call it. So you're holding a beer can. And you're going to, so I have this forward grip on here, and it just allows me to, this lets my brain find this touch point as I'm reaching for my rifle. If I'm in a hurry or if I'm in a dynamic situation or I'm getting out of a vehicle really fast, it allows me to, without looking, find that touch point for that proper distance. If I didn't have that on there, not necessarily saying I would, but I could possibly reach too far and grab the tip of my barrel, and when I shoot I could hurt myself or just burn myself. I don't think I would, but it is possible, especially for novice shooters. Or you could be a little bit too far back, sorry, a little forward where you need to be. Maybe you could grab too close. I could grab this pressure switch, turn on my light on accident. And a lot of people naturally go towards that magazine. That's like the worst thing in my opinion. That magazine grip is like the killer of all novice rifle shooters. So you want to find a good distance that you want to put your support arm on. So how you do that is you want to reach forward and you want to wrap around your rails, okay? As you're using that beer can. When you present your weapon, you don't want your elbow to be so hyperextended that you're pushing your elbow up through, and you don't want it so short like in that magazine grip to where it's almost like a support hand. Double support hands don't mean anything. This is a stability, a traversing hand. Your support hand is for horizontal traversing, okay? You can pull with your support hand like this, but all it does is it pulls the buttstock off of your chest, and it doesn't allow you to move very fast. I can't move this very fast, and if I try, I lose control of it. So this support hand, all that it's good for is horizontally traversing. This allows you to stay and drive while keeping that buttstock on your breast. You can use that support hand and push and pull the targets without compromising the buttstock on your chest, and it allows you to be much more faster and much efficient than if you just use your support arm like this. So now you have this proper distance. You want to wrap that thumb across. You don't need to. It's kind of like bench pressing. Some guys don't use their thumb on that. Like, it doesn't really affect your push. One thing I will say is when you wrap that thumb around, it gives you a much more neurological connection with the tip of the rifle. Now you have more control because you're grabbing it. Just for me, it just gives me more control, gives me a better sense of like presence with the firearm, if you will. If I just had my hands here, if I did like one of these where I wrap my thumb around it, it feels like I'm barely holding on to that forward grip. You see people do this sometimes where they just hold on to this forward grip, and it's just not exactly the same. So you want as much contact on there as possible. You want to wrap that thumb, wrap that thumb across. That thumb also helps with vertical oscillation. So when you shoot and it recoils and it comes up, you naturally kind of, that thumb up there is going to allow your arm to apply pressure downward, so it kind of counteracts that recoil a little bit. If you have it just on the forward grip and you're shooting, it's going to want to pop off a little bit. I'm not saying it, maybe not that dramatic, but it's going to pop off a little bit for sure. So you want to get a hold of that C grip, wrap that thumb around. Even for me, I put my index finger on the end of this. I just kind of naturally grab there. And don't be afraid of misgrips either. It doesn't have to be perfect every time. If you grab back here and you only get 2 fingers on there, that's still better than back here. If you grab up here and you get 2 fingers in front of your foregrip, that's still better than grabbing back here. You want this out, you want it presented, you want to push, you want to pull. That's exactly what that traversing, or that traversing arm, or that stabilizing arm is good for. So that's really your basics on how to hold your AR-15. As you guys will see in the future, we'll start putting range videos together. We'll go out and we'll actually shoot. I'll show you guys how to do stance and how to use optics to your ability, or to the best of their ability, sorry. How to manipulate the trigger safety, and proper ways to basically shoot on the move, and how to just excel your shooting performance all around. So we're gonna go back through really fast, just to make sure we double tap on everything. First things first, bust sack on the chest or on the pec, wrap that shoulder around, good grip on the pistol grip, putting pressure, inward pressure to your pec, pushing with that shoulder, good C-clamp grip on your foregrip, extend that elbow, drop that face into it, and you're ready to go. And I'll see you guys on the range. We're gonna be going to the range soon, so if you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe to this video. Thanks for stopping by.